So all those things that you remember that are gone from Animal Crossing New Horizons now, these are the 5 things that I think we'll see in the next round of updates in the summertime. Let's go. What is up, everybody? Bobby here, the Nintendo Guru, and man, we got this crazy trailer drop, right? And I don't think there's a lot of people that expected to see the things in this trailer drop that we got. And I think the one thing that we've learned from this is the things that we thought were gone are bound to come back. We just don't know when they're going to come back. So today I wanted to take some time to work through 5 things that I feel like need to come back, that not only need to come back, but are going to come back in the next round of updates. Let's just start with the Roost, right? Everybody's been talking about Brewster coming back. I mean, this is the one character that a lot of people have continually talked about returning at some point in the game. Everybody wants him. He's a fan favorite. I don't think there's a single solitary doubt in anybody's mind that the Roost comes back, that Brewster comes back, and gyroids come back. Because I think that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for that moment that when Brewster's back, he's the king of gyroids, and to bring that all back. And I feel like, when could this essentially happen? I think in July. I think when we hit the 4th of July point of when we get that update, I think that's basically when they fire this thing off. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. We basically know the next 3 months are locked in with updates and what's going to happen. But I think everybody that saw Red return, I think a lot of people that, I mean, let's be honest, people expected Leaf to be back. But people that saw Red come back, who was not even talked about by a lot of people prior, the only thing that was talked about was like, hey, where's the paintings and stuff? But people weren't talking about Red for the most part. It was either Brewster or whatever. Like, those characters were talked about way more than Red. So when I saw Red, my first reaction was, this makes sense. This makes sense the way they're doing this. They want to expand the museum. They want to slow roll the museum and add to it and give you more. How exciting is that? Like, to get more of the museum and more stuff to do. So I think that was just made sense. But here's the debate back and forth. A lot of people that I've been, just on my last video, a lot of people were making comments about the fact of, not only did they want the Roost to return, but they wanted the Roost to be a separate building. Every game up into New Leaf, the Roost was in the museum. New Leaf comes out and we get the Roost, but it's in its own separate area. It's in its own separate building. You had to unlock it. KK Slider then does not go to the Roost. It's the first time he doesn't go to the Roost. Let's be honest. KK Slider needs to be someplace else. I don't think there's a single solitary person that enjoys KK Slider basically in front of the door of Town Hall, hanging out there for hours on end for the day. I would prefer for him to be like in the Roost again, like in a setting where it is where you can hang out and do this stuff. So this is what I truly feel is going to believe. And I know a lot of people have said like, hey, but we want the Roost to be separate. My heart tells me, in my heart of hearts, this is what I feel. I feel like as you have the lower level of the museum broken off into 3 sections, I think that we are going to get the art stuff. The art is going to be one wing. Then another wing is going to be Celeste, and she's going to actually get a place for her to come for the astrology and all that stuff. And then I think the final step is going to be the Roost. And I think you're going to have all 3 in the upstairs. I think we lose the ability to decorate the additional rooms. I think that's going to go away. It might come back in a different aspect later on, but I think that's what we're going to get. I think when Brewster shows up, that's going to open up the top. Hopefully. We'll see. I think Katrina shows up as a vendor. When that actually happens, I think it's, again, in the next round of updates. A lot of people love Katrina. A lot of people love going to her and changing their luck and basically talking to her and finding out the fortunes of their ways. So I think that's going to happen easily within the next one. Just makes a lot of sense to me. So this one has been playing in my mind a lot, and it's Label. Label right now is showing up, and she's giving these little tests, and it's helping her to build her design and do stuff like that. And in the past, that was Gracie Grace's role. And I feel that what's happening here is Label will once again return to the Able Sister shop. Reason why I say this, there is a connection. Anybody that keeps talking to Mabel and Sable, they're recognizing very quickly, like, they miss Label, they love Label, they're reminiscing and talking about stories about Label when she was a kid. It just makes sense to me. The other thing is when Label comes and visits, when you unlock the coupons and she gives you those coupons, those items are available in the Able Sister shop. And it's that one particular time that you go in the day after where it's exclusive Able Sister stuff. It's stuff that Label puts there that's there. It makes total sense for me for her to show up back with her sisters. It just works and makes a lot of sense for me. And in my mind, I thought, does she take over for Gracie Grace? Or, and go into the third floor of the Nooks when it becomes Nookington's. That's the other thing that I think. I think Nookington's returns. I think that when we get an update later on, at some point, we will get Nookington's. And Nookington's will be a full-scale 3-floor outfit where we're going to have a store. And I think they're trying to figure out the design. Because if you notice, like, it basically went from Nook's Cranny. It opened up to fill that whole spot. Maybe it's just a 2-story store, you know what I mean? Like, they had the long rectangular store, and then they have a second floor on it. I don't know exactly how it all worked out, but it just makes sense to me that Nookington's returns. Everything is showing that all of our greatest things are going to return. I would say, if I was a betting man, that Nookington's would definitely return in the next round of updates. And the reason why I would say that Nookington's would return in the next round of updates is because by that point, you will have bought most of your items. Between that and Red showing up, and always when you had Nookington's, the whole idea was to get you high-end furniture, high-end clothing, and that was from Gracie Grace. And that would be what I would think is, Label would go over to the Able Sisters, Gracie Grace would come back when Nookington's is there, and boom, you get it up top, and that's basically how it's going to work. So those are my opinions there. The final thing that I see returning, absolutely, in the next update to Nintendo items, I think it is the most sought after thing that's not happening, and I think Nintendo's sitting back and watching right now and seeing the creativity that is coming out of the Animal Crossing community to hold those items back, hurt people, and I not physically hurt them, you know what I mean, but like, there's people, like, I have a good friend of mine, Nick Militia, right? And Nick owns a video game store, retro video game store here in New Jersey. And Next Level Games, go check it out. But the thing with Nick is this is the most amazing and telling thing. Nick actually built like a lost woods, a lost forest area where he's going to plant the Master Sword when it finally gets unlocked. So here's a guy that basically is already building an area for an item that might never show up. But because of past history, he's expecting it to show up. And I think that this update that we just got a couple days ago, it tells us that what you want, what you desire, will eventually make its way into this game. I feel like this is the Splatoon effect. This is basically a slow roll to keep you interested, to keep you coming back, to keep you playing this game. And if people aren't playing enough, I love the idea of this, because the thing is, let's be honest, anybody that was a former player of Animal Crossing, you would get to a certain point, like the museum fills, you have all the furniture series, you're starting to unlock multiple furniture series, you're getting rooms full of stuff, and then next thing you know, you start to kind of like just go in and do a couple of tasks. This is driving you to not just go back into your tasks, but to do additional content, to do additional adventures and additional things. I think it's a fantastic thing, and I think that when the Nintendo items come in, everybody that's creating some fantastic towns and islands and all that stuff, it just skyrockets to that next level. And I cannot wait for Nintendo to do it. I also feel like this is the next update. And the next round of updates, this is the things that are going to happen. These are the way that I see these things happening. I think it would be fantastic. And I don't think there's a single solitary person out there that would be upset if any of this stuff shows up in our next updates. Let's hope. So that is all. Thank you guys for watching today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please slap the like button down below. Share it with all your friends. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the bell so you know what's going on around here. You can follow me Instagram, Twitter, and over on Twitch, where I stream basically Monday through Friday. You know, go check it out in the evening times at Nintendo Gurus. For now, peace out, Preston.